The old house creaked with secrets. Leo loved exploring its dusty corners. One hot day he found a loose board in the attic floor.
I wonder what's under here.
He peeked in. A wooden chest carved with strange symbols lay forgotten. He lifted it. Inside, nestled in velvet, was a paintbrush. It shimmered, unlike any brush he'd seen.
Wow, this is incredible.
A whisper seemed to come from the brush.
Bring your art to life.
Leo had always loved to draw. Animals, mostly. He dreamed of them leaping off the page. Could this brush be the answer? He held it tight. It felt warm, almost alive in his hand. He raced to his room, a whirlwind of excitement and hope. This was it. This was the answer to all of his artistic dreams. He could already imagine it. Leo grabbed his sketchbook. He was a good artist, but something was missing. His drawings never felt real enough. They lacked the spark of life he craved. Frustrated, he slammed his pencil down.
Ugh, why can't I make this look right?
It was then he remembered the attic, the paintbrush. He pulled it out, the whisper echoing in his mind.
Bring your art to life.
What did it mean? Could it really be true? He had to try it. He had to see. He dipped the brush in water, then his paints. It felt different. It pulsed with energy. He began to paint a dog, a playful collie with fur like spun gold. The brush seemed to move on its own, guided by an unseen force. The dog on the page seemed to shimmer. He held his breath as he added the finishing touches.
What will happen?
Suddenly the drawing rippled. The collie leapt off the page, barking excitedly. Leo gasped. It was real. The fur, the eyes, the happy yap, everything was perfect.
This is amazing.
The collie, now the size of a small dog, licked Leo's face. He laughed, his heart soaring with joy. He had done it. He had brought his art to life. The collie bounded around the room, a whirlwind of golden fur. Leo watched in awe. It was better than he ever imagined. But as he watched the collie play, a strange tiredness washed over him. A wave of dizziness hit him, and he had to sit down.
Why do I feel so tired?
He felt weak, drained. What was happening? Ignoring his fatigue, Leo decided to paint more. A mischievous monkey swinging from the lampshade, a flock of birds singing on his windowsill. Each creation was more spectacular than the last. Leo's room was no longer a room, but a magical menagerie. He was surrounded by his own private zoo.
This is incredible, but why am I so exhausted?
But with each creation, Leo felt weaker. His vision blurred, his steps faltered. His once vibrant energy was fading, replaced by a bone-deep exhaustion. It was like the brush was feeding on him, drawing life from him to give to his creations. He collapsed onto his bed, the room spinning.
Is this the price of the magic?
Was this the price of the magic? Section 5. The Price of Magic. Leo woke to his mother's worried face.
You're burning up, she exclaimed, feeling his forehead.
His room was unusually bright and noisy. It was then he remembered the animals, the brush. His heart sank. He had to get rid of them. But how? How could he send them back into the drawings?
Mom, the brush, he rasped, his throat dry.
He pointed to the paintbrush lying on the floor. His mother, confused, picked it up.
This old thing, I found it in the attic. It's beautiful, isn't it? She said, admiring the intricate carvings.
He had to get it back, but he was too weak.
Section 6. A Brush with Fate. Leo knew he couldn't tell his mother the truth. She wouldn't understand. He had to get the brush back, but how? He had an idea. Mom, he croaked, can you hand me the brush? I want to draw you something.
His mother smiled and gave him the brush. As soon as his fingers touched it, he felt a surge of energy, not his own, but the brush's. It was like holding a bolt of lightning. The animals, sensing the shift, grew agitated. The monkey began to screech. The birds took flight, flapping frantically. He had to act fast.
Section 7. Reclaiming Creativity. Leo knew what he had to do. With a shaking hand, he began to paint. He painted over the drawings, each stroke draining the life from the room. The animals began to fade, their forms dissolving back into the paper. The monkey vanished with a poof. The birds disappeared in a flurry of feathers.
He painted until his room was silent again, the only sound his ragged breathing. The brush felt cold now, lifeless. He looked at the drawings, now flat and lifeless on the page. He felt a pang of sadness, but also a sense of relief. He was safe, and he had learned a valuable lesson.
Section 8. The Fate of the Paintbrush. Leo's fever broke that night. He woke up feeling drained but alive. He looked at the paintbrush on his nightstand. It seemed dull now, ordinary. The magic and the danger were gone. He picked it up and dipped it in water. The brush remained lifeless.
He began to draw using his old familiar pencils and paints. He drew the collie, the monkey, the birds. They were just drawings, but they felt different now. They were his creations, born from his imagination and skill. He didn't need magic to bring them to life. He had something better.
Section 9. The True Colors of Art. Leo continued to draw, filling his sketchbooks with creatures both real and imagined. He learned to love the process, the feel of the pencil on paper, the way colors blended and flowed. He learned from his mistakes, celebrated his triumphs. He realized that true creativity didn't come from a magic brush, but from within.
He never used the magic paintbrush again. He kept it tucked away in his desk drawer, a reminder of the day he learned that the greatest magic of all lay not in bringing art to life, but in the power of imagination itself. The power to create, to dream, to inspire. That was the true magic, and it was a magic that resided within him, waiting to be unleashed with every stroke of his own hand.